8.2 Health Consultation, Client 2. The client showed a BMI of 31.5. A healthy BMI would have been between 18 and 25. If the client was overweight, he would have been between 20 and 30. And if the client is obese, he would be over 30. Due to the client's data, his BMI shows that he is obese. Waist to hip ratio. The client had a waist to hip ratio of 0.98. A low health risk would have mean that he had a waist to hip ratio of 0.95. A moderate health risk would have been 0.96 and lower. And a high health risk would have been 1 and above. As the client is 0.98, he is between a moderate and high health risk, closer to a high health risk. Therefore, would need to refer to a GP. Heart rate readings. The client had a heart rate reading of 84 beats per minute. If it was below average, it would have been 81. Average shows that it would have been 72. And above average would have been 69. The client's heart rate is also is below average. Therefore, we would need to refer to a GP. Blood pressure readings. The client showed a blood pressure reading of 149 and 93. The client's data shows that he does not have ideal blood pressure, as he is over. He is not pre-hypertensive, as he is also over. Therefore, the client is in hypertension, most likely stage 1, as he has a systolic blood pressure reading of over 140 and a diastolic reading of over 89. Peak flow readings. The client showed a peak flow reading of 490. The client's height is 166 centimeters. The ideal for the client's height is 500, a peak flow of 500. Therefore, the client is below average, or below ideal for his height. The peak for his height would be 610. The client has a heart rate of 84. Therefore, I have said that his heart rate is below average by about 10 heartbeats. This will most likely improve while weight is being lost. It can also be improved by going for short runs and slowly increasing the length and intensity. Blood pressure. Blood pressure is high, although a client already knows he has coronary heart disease, has heart problems, and is hypertensive. He was also recently checked with a GP who is cleared him for physical activity. BMI of 31.5. The client's BMI shows that he is obese. This is dangerous as it can lead to coronary heart disease and other problems, which the client already knows he has. Client's goals include losing weight, and therefore BMI will decrease, but this range is very dangerous for the client, and we will need to create a diet plan for the client by losing 1,770 and 2,250. Lung function. The client's lung function was 490. I have said that the client has a peak flow that is a little bit lower than average, and therefore we need to increase this. This increase could occur by jogging for 1 to 2 kilometers 3 times a week and slowly increasing duration, intensity, and frequency. And finally, waist to hip ratio. The client has a waist to hip ratio of 0.98 and therefore is at risk of health problems, which he is aware of. This should decrease with weight loss. Evaluation for goals. Client's main goal consisted of him losing fat, which is vague but can be achieved. Another of the client's goals was to be able to play five-a-side football again. My recommendation was to figure out how much the client wants to lose, how much weight the client would want to lose, and how much time it may take due to current weight, the schedule, and the job. To start losing weight, I'd recommend the client to start 2 kilometer jogs around his area using a Fitbit or other to record the time taken and distance run. This will slowly increase as the time goes on to 3 kilometers and 4 kilometers. If 2 kilometers is too hard or client feels uncomfortable running outside, they can start with a HIIT exercise indoors to solve the dilemma. Physical activity. Currently, the client leads a sedentary lifestyle as he is a truck driver. It does not involve him walking anywhere. He also mentioned he drives to work, which is a 10-minute walk. I recommended that the client start walking to work to increase his physical activity. He also mentions that he enjoys playing football, but is to start playing five-a-side football again. It may be helpful to suggest a walking football club, for example, Brighton and Hove Dolphins Walking Football Club. Nutrition. The client does not eat well at all. 5 of the client's weekly meals consist of fast food, which needs to be cut down substantially. The client has no allergies and he eats 1 of his 5 a day, which can also be improved on. My recommendation was for the client to create meals before work so he's not tempted to eat fast food after a long day of work. The meals would need to consist of low carbs, around a fist size of protein, and most of the plate, or around half of the plate, consisting of vegetables. This should not be a problem as client has said that they are not a picky eater, but we'll check with the client to make sure that there are no foods he does not feel comfortable eating. Lifestyle. The client leads a busy lifestyle. As he is a truck driver, he works 5 days a week and does not have anything to do on weekends. Therefore, he leads a sedentary lifestyle. He has also said that he drinks 3 to 4 bottles of beer a day and smokes 12 cigarettes a day. My recommendation is to ask the client to plan how long their day is, when they will be able to start running after work and play sports with their children, as the client said he would be interested in doing so. The client also needs to slowly cut down on the amount of alcohol consumed a day and the amount of cigarettes smoked a day, which will be difficult. Physical health. The client does not consider himself injury prone, but also as it has been a long time since partaking in exercise. He is currently suffering from back pains and has never injured himself previously. Back pains may be due to the weight of the client and may slowly decrease with weight loss. If not, then client needs to be referred to a physio to find the main problem. Alcohol. The client drinks 3 to 4 bottles of beer a day, which amounts to 18 to 28 bottles a week. This is very dangerous for the client, as he already has coronary heart disease and other heart problems. The constant consuming of alcohol could lead to liver failure and organ damage. I would suggest finding out if the client drinks because of convenience and if he is able to cut down on alcohol intake immediately. If not, we would need to slowly decrease the amount of alcohol a week by 2 to 3 bottles a week until the client feels comfortable no longer having to drink. We need to be careful on how this question is phrased and be clear to the client that this will help with his goal substantially. Smoking. A client smokes 12 cigarettes a day. As with alcohol intake, this is in excess and would be beneficial to the client if cut down. As smoking can be more addictive than alcohol, and due to the amount of cigarettes smoked a day, there is an indication that the client may be addicted. We will need to find out from the client if he smokes socially or because of other reasons. We will also need to ask the client if they will be able to cut down to half that and eventually get rid of the habit. Or finally, suggest a vape to the client, which is cheaper and the amount of nicotine can be changed. Physical activity. Physical activity is the final suggestion for the client. Due to the client's weight and BMI, a lot more physical activity is needed in his life. Although this also links to the client's goal of losing weight, which requires lots more physical activity, indicating that the client is willing to start. As talked about previously, there are 3 things I would recommend for the client. Joining a walking football league, as he does not yet feel comfortable playing 5-a-side football. Starting 2 kilometer jogs around his area using a Fitbit or other to record the time taken and distance run. This should slowly increase as time goes on to 3 kilometers and 4 kilometers. If these 2 options seem difficult or the client feels uncomfortable, He can also start with HIIT exercises to adapt to physical activity before trying the other two options.